But I want to tell you that the element that's inside this dietary supplement, it's a single element, is extracted out of the hops plant. And this was discovered about 70 years ago, back in the early 50s, when they tried to pull this element out. And once they finally figured out how to do that, they patented it on how it came out. But it cost $1 million a gallon. And when they started running the testing on it, they found out it did some real crazy things to the fat that you don't like, that you'd love to see gone when you get up out of the shower and you're going like, man, I need to get rid of some of this stuff. Yep. Well, they found out it burned it off, but it cost too much, and so they abandoned the project. Well, back to this little packaging. This little packaging is, it's called a Easy Snap. He does some work for a pharmaceutical company. And they got several labs, and they build all kinds of pharmaceutical drugs. And they got tasked with building a drug about 10 years ago that was about how you could burn fat off. And they knew about this 1950s thing that took place. And so the formulator, he got some engineers together and some scientists and some doctors, and they went after, okay, how could we extract this where it doesn't cost $1 million? Because if we could ever figure this out, we would have the holy grail of weight loss, because of what the clinical studies showed back in the 50s it did. Ended up figuring out how to extract it. They, after a lot of time and money spent, and they thought it couldn't happen, but they did figure it out, a different way to pull this element out. And all of a sudden they had to patent the machine, because there's only one machine in the world that does this. They had to build the machine, and then they patented the extraction process, and they started testing this. And as they started testing this, they found out very quickly that when you added this into water, it didn't have any taste or any liquid. All of a sudden what happened is you started dropping weight. All right. And the weight was really not, the weight was fat. It wasn't muscle. It was eating it up. And as they studied it more, they found out that when you put it in an adult beverage, even something crazier happened. And that was that it worked better, which sounds completely crazy. What if you never had to use the word diet again? What if the word diet was gone and it was a snap a day, or I do a snap in the morning in my coffee and a snap in whatever drink I'm having later in the day, whether that's an adult beverage or just a glass of water, it doesn't matter. All right, because they found out that this works for up to 9 hours, according to the scientists. So what that means is I take one of these snaps, I snap that in my drink, and now what takes place is I turn a light switch on. If I want to keep the light on, then all I do is do another snap, and it continues to create a thermogenic response. It works better in an adult beverage. You're saying, what? You mean the wine that I like, I could continue to drink? Because see, here's the thing. People think that the alcohol is what's making people fat. Actually, that's not the case. Well, it ain't about getting up early in the morning. And I'm not saying don't go work out, because the studies show that it's better if you go work out because it works quicker. But many people don't want to do that and take the time to do it. So yes, it's 100% natural. This is plant-based. It is an element in the hops plant. And you say, well, can I just eat the hops plant and get the same thing? You could, but you have to eat a lot of it. Let me give you an idea what the scientists figured out. They figured out if you want to get enough of this to do what it does, this thermogenic response, you'd have to drink 63 tall boys in one setting. Now, I know some of you might be able to drink beer, but I don't think you can do 63 tall boys in one setting to get the right amount. You're going to be sleeping long before you ever get to number 25, probably. All right. It's 100% natural. It's gluten-free, vegan-free, no side effects. And I already mentioned about the patents that are on it, but it works with any kind of drink. So this is not about promoting drinking alcohol. That's not what this is at all, because it works in any drink. I put it in my coffee first thing in the morning. But where it does work with alcoholic beverages, it creates an interesting scenario, because when you drink alcohol, the body processes the alcohol first. And according to the scientists, they said it's 63 minutes per drink. So if you drink 3 beers, multiply 63 times 3. And what it's doing is it's storing all the food you're eating with your beverage as fat. So that pizza, guess where it's going? It's all stored as fat, because the body is processing the alcohol first. And what this element does when it's dropped into the adult beverage, it now allows the body a thermogenic response, and now it processes both the food and the alcohol at the same time. And that's what we don't want to look like because of the high intake of fat. But probably what's causing a big part of that is we're drinking an adult beverage while we're eating food. And this thermogenic response, what this really is, and what the scientists said, that they've never found anything else that does this, is it's similar to doing an ice plunge or an ice bath, which is a very popular thing now. You start to shiver, and the brown adipose fat, it starts to make you shiver, and it causes you to start burning energy, which it burns the different kinds of fat that you got, the stuff you don't want. And it does it for a long time. And so this does the same kind of thing with no shivers. How cool is that? Drop it in your drink, and now you got up to 9 hours in some studies that showed that this thermogenic response continues. And if you want to keep the light on like they do at Motel 6, take another one. All right. Taking 10 or 12 does not do any more for you. It's just when the time runs out, it's like, let's keep the timer going, and the fat burning is achieved. Just one snap, and yeah, it works in coffee. Doesn't change anything. It's completely tasteless. It's odorless. All right. Does it work in orange juice? Well, it sure does. Does it work in your iced tea at lunch? Sure. If you want to put it in at lunchtime, if you want to put it in your soda, there you go. Have at it. You know, your glass of water. And then this is where the game changes, is all of a sudden now what it does is it goes in an adult beverage.
What can I get you?
Whiskey neat, please.
Yes, sir. Would you like that diet?
Yeah, perfect.
Well, as a trainer, I'll be honest, like I've always told my clients right away when we start the, fitness journey to cut off, alcohol. And what I just saw.
Does that work in white?
Yes, ma'am, it does.
Hit me up. I'm a national board certified health and wellness coach. But honestly, my passion has always been fat loss for people, and I've been doing that since 2015. Getting rid of their glass of wine at night or, a beer or two on the weekend, it is hard to do. So this is amazing.
Is the ability to impact people's quality of life like we've never seen before in an accelerated way.
Can I get diet beer?
Sir.
When people see really what it is and the science and the research that's backing it, it's a no-brainer for someone like me.
That the testimonies are for educational, informational purposes only, and it is not intended to be a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Always seek the advice of your physician or other qualified health providers with any questions you have regarding any medical condition. Never disregard professional medical advice or delay in seeking it because of something learned with this presentation. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Each individual on here, it could vary. But I want you to hear what happened to them. That this is all about fat loss, but this also does some unique things. So why don't you just share what your background is and what you're seeing take place and why you're excited about what we're doing here.
All right. Thanks, Byron. First of all, Dr. Ben Bowers, Wichita, Kansas. I'm a functional medicine doctor. I've been in healthcare over 40 years. And my objective as a physician is to find out what's wrong and try to fix it. I call it functional medicine. And I'm a skeptic at heart. I've seen so many things come through. I have been involved in so many things in doing research. I'm part of the owner of a research company that we do tons of research on a lot of different products. I've done product development. I've done supplementation development. Just the list goes on and on. I have taught functional medicine around the country for 30, 40 years and thousands of doctors. So a little bit about that, about me. So when I was first presented this, I'm like, yeah, right, sure, I've seen this before. This is snake oil. That's what this is. And so doing my due diligence, I started doing some research behind it. I was well aware of the hops, the flour, and some of the excipient extracts that come out of it. But it intrigued me that the Adiphyte, which is a new one that hadn't been around. And so when I started doing some comparison on that, I thought, well, I'm going to do what I do. I'm going to do my due diligence. I'm going to get in and do my research. I'm going to start watching this with patients and clients and verifying the results that we get and go from there. Now that, I'm about 50 pounds overweight, 67 years of age. Yeah, that'd probably be a great thing. So real quick, like I got on the phone, called up 4 or 5 of my doctor buddies. I said, here's what we're going to do. We're going to bring this in. We're going to do our analysis of it, and we're going to share all of our results, and we're going to experience it together. And so since the end of June, 1st of July here, we've got about 12 or 13 of us in, and we're seeing some pretty amazing results. Now, I want to qualify this, as Byron mentioned earlier, not everybody's going to have the same results. In fact, when I look at some of my clients or some of my patients that I've actually put this on, I went to causation of symptomatology or problems, and I said, okay, I have seen research that does this for that condition. Would you be willing to try this, and let's see what the results are? And so you've heard some of them that's already been mentioned, all right? So some of the unique things that I've seen is hunger changes. So my own personal experience has been on about a little less than 3 weeks. I'm down 6 pounds, but 12 inches. Now those inches are between my chest, my arms, my abdomen, my hips, and my thighs. Folks, that's amazing. I don't know anything that's done that. I haven't come across anything that has done that well. And so then I started watching some of my other symptoms of my patients, my clients, and we're seeing those things. Another kind of funny thing that, and I just say it's not a fun, but one of the major things is I urinate more. If I can say the word pee, I pee more. It's what they tell me. I go, well, that's okay. You're just peeing your weight away, peeing your fat away. So we're seeing a lot of that. The blood sugar issues are definitely there. Blood pressure reduction. Sleep. A lot of people are saying, doctor, understand, I'm having vivid dreams again. I don't have to nap as often. I have more energy, more strength, more stamina. Autoimmune issues that are reducing, that are not, I won't say abating, but all these things are lessening, all in less than 3 weeks since what we've been doing. And a big one for me at my age of 67 is the cognitive changes. People are going, I have better clarity, I have better recall, I have better recollection. And oh, by the way, a lot less stress and anxiety. So I've had a few people that we put on it that do not need to lose weight, do not need to lose fat per se. But when you understand what the fat actually does in the body and how our bodies are designed to retain fat, right? We talk about the white adipose tissue, the brown adipose tissue, the muscle adipose tissue, what's called the visceral adipose tissue. The body has so much fat that it needs for the brain, the nervous system, the hormones, 600 hormones, and the 8 master neurotransmitters. It needs fat. So your body will want to retain all the fat that it can. The problem is when you start retaining fat in the adipocytes is now your body can't use it. It gets put away, locked up, and the body can't get it. So it says, give me more, give me more. So what I was intrigued about this when I saw this is when I look at fat dysregulation within the body, or what we call the adipocytes or the lipid metabolism, what if I can change that, or if this product utilization can increase the thermogenesis, the metabolism of what's going on in the lipids, and all of a sudden you turn all the right utilization of the fats back on, all the symptoms of the lack of fat should in turn start dissipating and going away. And here in 3 weeks, that's exactly what we're seeing. So headaches reducing, numbness resolving, less weakness, skin shiny, hair growing. I mean, again, everybody's body is different. And so whatever that dysfunction is in that body, since we know the body is really a body of fat, I mean, think about the brain is 60% fat. The 5 different nervous systems of the body are 80 to 85% fat. As I said already, 600 hormones are made out of fat, and your 8 master neurotransmitters are 92% fat. If you can't use fat correctly, you're going to have some dysfunction in one of those areas. And everything that's been mentioned tonight is all a fat dysregulation problem. So by burning that fat or utilizing that fat and turning it back on, now the body says, thank you very much. I have the right fuel. I can go fix what was deficient. That's what I'm seeing.
Wow. That is fantastic. And Dr. Bowers, you're a blessing, man. Isabella, give us a little bit of your background and then why you're excited about this.
Hi. So these are my personal experiences, and it may not be your experience. And so I'm Isabella from Texas. I'm in the military. I'm getting ready to retire in September. So that's where I'm from. And so my experience has been that when I first started taking it right after July 4th, I didn't see a whole bunch of a difference in my weight. And so I said, you know what? I measured before. Let me measure 2 weeks later. I measured part of my upper body and I lost 2.5 inches, which was great. My weight didn't change a whole lot, which I'm okay with. But what really got me excited was the fact that my inflammation in my fingers and in my joints went down. But more importantly, my blood glucose. I've been dealing with pre-diabetic numbers for the past year, and so I've gone on, like eating really, really healthy, and nothing seemed to change my numbers until I started taking the product. So I'm super excited about that.
So you're saying that the numbers that you have went back down in a normal kind of range, or what took place?
They're in the normal range. They're no longer pre-diabetic numbers.
Wow, how amazing is that?
Yeah.
And the inflammation in your hands, that's from, being in the military and beating up on people, right?
Holding my fist up too much.
And then I've been on the product for about 3 weeks now. And this is my experience. I'm not saying it's going to affect anyone else. I know other people have other experiences. But what I did is I measured first, and I took some before pictures, and I took some after pictures yesterday, and I saw a huge difference, and I was like, wow. And so I measured, and I lost about 2 inches off my stomach and 1.5 inches off my waist, and so I was pretty excited about that. But like I say, I felt great doing it. Sometimes when you go on diets, you feel like crap. No pun intended, but for me, it's been the easiest thing. I haven't changed my lifestyle. I need to work out, but I don't. But anyway, that's what the product did for me.
You really like the simplicity of snapping this in a drink. Are you putting it in an adult beverage? Are you putting it in your coffee, or what is it that you're doing? Because you didn't change anything other than putting it in a drink. Is that what you're saying?
That's correct. I don't drink alcohol, so I've put it in soda, I've put it in orange juice, I put it in water, and I've done it two times a day, morning and night, and that's all I've changed. And when I looked at my before and after pictures, 3-week pictures, I should say, it's not after yet because I'm still going. There's a huge difference, and I didn't understand how much, I guess, visceral fat I had, or fat around my stomach. So
yeah.
My name is Julie Gowan. I'm from Breezy Point. I'm an interior designer by trade. So you can understand, I have a lot of stress in my life, so I don't always sleep. And by taking this new Fix product, it's really helped me with my sleeping at night. I also have an autoimmune system issue, and so it's really calmed my gut down a lot. And it really has, like I said, with the job that I have, this product has really calmed me down. And
isn't it nice to start feeling better and sleeping better?
Absolutely. I haven't felt this great in a long time.
Yeah, that's really awesome. All right.